child.
Millionaire is speaking out today after facing backlash for stealing a hat from a child at the U.S. Open.
It was a perfect afternoon at the U.S. Open. The sun warm, the crowd buzzing, and a young fan in the front row clutching a cap, eyes wide with awe. Some behind small cloud tennis. His hero had just won, sweat still glistening, racket raised high, and as he walked off the court he stopped. A smile, a nod, a gesture of kindness. He handed the cap to the kid. Clapping hands blew heart. The boy's face lit up. Hope, joy, disbelief. Frozen in time. Until suddenly it happened. Out of nowhere, a hand lunged in. A man snatched the cap from the child's grip. Astonished face. The crowd gasped. Cameras rolled. Social media erupted. But who was this man, and why did he do it? Camille Machak had just pulled off one of the biggest upsets of the tournament. A gritty, come-from-behind victory that had the stadium on its feet. Trophy fire. Her win wasn't just about tennis. It was about resilience, grit, the kind of performance that makes headlines, turns rookies into legends, and reminds fans why they watch in the first place. As she walked off the court, sweat-soaked and smiling, she took a moment, one brief human moment, to connect with the crowd. Cameras followed her as she approached the railing. There stood a boy, no older than 10, eyes shimmering, holding out a cap. Folded hands, boy build cap. She took the cap, signed it with a flourish, and bent down to place it gently back in his hands. It was pure magic, until it wasn't, because in the blink of an eye, a man reached in from the side and snatched the cap away. The boy's expression crumbled. Confusion turned to disbelief. The moment shattered. Crying face camera would flash. Within hours, the clip had gone viral, shared by fans, retweeted by athletes, and dissected by news anchors. TMZ ran it on loop. Late-night hosts cracked jokes. Celebrities weighed in. And the internet? It exploded. Public sympathy poured in for the child, a symbol of innocence robbed. While fury rained down on the mystery man who stole more than just a souvenir, he stole a memory. Broken heart. But as the clip spread and the outrage mounted, a darker curiosity began to stir. Who was he? What drove him to do it? And maybe the hardest question of all, what does this moment say about the world we live in now? The man in the now infamous video was quickly identified. Perpetrator, the 58-year-old CEO of Drawbrook, a multi-billion-dollar logistics and AI conglomerate with deep roots in Silicon Valley and even deeper pockets in Washington. Briefcase satellite. To some, Shrek was a visionary, a bold technocrat known for turning dry supply chain data into gold. To others, he was a walking caricature of modern excess. Private jets, $70,000 watches, and a fleet of vintage cars he rarely drove. But he wasn't famous. Not until now. Cephii. A few grainy press photos had floated around over the years, usually at galas or behind closed-door summits. But until that one slow-motion frame, the hand, the cap, the child's shattered face, few had ever seen Perpetrator up close. So, what kind of man does this? Digging into his public history, nothing quite like this appears. No criminal record, no known scandals. But colleagues, anonymously, paint a pattern, aloof, blunt, a man who doesn't really see people unless they're in his tax bracket. Ice Cube, his wealth, it seems, had created a kind of insulation, a psychological barrier between himself and the world of everyday consequences. Not evil, just unreachable. Psychologists have long pointed to something called affluenza, a state in which extreme wealth breeds entitlement, dulls empathy, and warps reality. And Shrek? He seemed to fit the bill a little too perfectly. This wasn't the first time the ultra-rich had behaved strangely in public. A hedge fund manager once berated a flight attendant for not presenting the champagne bottle. A tech mogul demanded a toddler be removed from a restaurant for disrupting his neural flow. These aren't just moments of rudeness. They're glimpses into a widening empathy gap. And finally, the hand, out of nowhere, from the right of the frame, grabbing the cap like it was his by right. Reddit was the first to break it down in forensic detail. Angle of approach, one thread called it, with diagrams tracking Shrek's movement from 3 different fanshot videos. TikTok followed, stitching together emotional reactions. Teens in tears. Parents outraged. Even former athletes chimed in. "You just don't do that," said one ex-tennis pro. Tennis broken heart. YouTube commentators went live within hours. Capgate, they called it. Billionaire steals from child. And soon, a name emerged. Brock. The boy's name was Brock Landon, age 9, from Charlotte, North Carolina. He was attending his first major tennis tournament. A birthday gift from his grandmother, who'd saved for almost a year to buy the tickets. Wrapped gift, old woman. A family friend confirmed to a local news station. Brock hasn't said much. He just keeps asking why the man was allowed to take it. Pensive face. It wasn't just a cap. It was a moment, a memory, and it had been ripped away, live, in front of millions. Online accusations piled up. Greed, entitlement, emotional blindness. "This is what happens," one post read, "when rich men walk through life never being told no." Memes exploded. POTUS photoshopped into scenes from The Grinch, Thanos, even Darth Vader. Hashtags trended globally. Hashtag cap snatcher build cap. Hashtag justice for Brock. Hashtag ban POTA. One petition to bar Shrek from all future USTA events gained over 1.2 million signatures in 3 days. Pressure was mounting. Fast. Laptop computer fire. Journalists began calling. One even showed up at the Dragbrook lobby, live streaming her confrontation with security. "We just want a statement," she said. "People deserve to know why he did it." Understood, but no response came. And so the silence grew louder. The crowd wasn't just demanding answers anymore. They were demanding accountability. The question wasn't just about a cap. It was about what happens when someone with everything takes from someone with nothing and thinks no one will stop him. 4 days after the incident, with the pressure at a boiling point, the silence finally broke. POTUS released a statement, short, clinical, and posted to a white background press release site few had heard of. No video, no emotion, just text. Memo. I regret the misunderstanding that occurred at the U.S. Open involving the sign cap. I did not intend to upset the young fan or anyone else. In the moment, I believed the cap was being offered freely. I have since reached out to the family privately and hope to move forward. He called it a misunderstanding. No direct apology. No mention of Brock's name. No ownership of the act. Underscore. The internet erupted. Again. For many, this was classic damage control. Corporate speak. A billionaire shielding himself behind a wall of PR. Not sorry for what I did, just sorry you saw it. One tweet read. Others, though fewer, came to his defense. Give the guy a break. One business blog wrote. He made a mistake. He's human. But for most, it wasn't enough. Dragbrook released its own carefully worded statement the next day, stressing Shrek's long-standing commitment to youth initiatives and distancing the company from the event. Still, the damage was done. Within 48 hours, 3 minor sponsors pulled partnerships. One tech podcast canceled a scheduled interview. Quiet exits, but meaningful. Warning, chart decreasing. Then came the unexpected emotional twist. A short video, posted to a private Instagram account and quickly shared across platforms, showed Brock holding a new cap. This one personally sent by Camille Machak herself. Signed, framed, and delivered with a note. You're the kind of fan that makes this game worth playing. Never stop believing. Brock smiled. Shy, quiet, still unsure, maybe, of what had happened. But healing. Understood. And in that moment, the story began to shift. People stopped talking just about the man who took, and started focusing on the boy who still believed. The innocence that couldn't quite be stolen. But for POTUS, the road ahead was far from clear. Because even as the media cycle began to churn forward, one truth remained. The world had seen something it couldn't unsee. It wasn't going to forget it anytime soon. In the weeks that followed, POTUS vanished from public life. No interviews. No social posts. No courtside appearances. The man who once dominated tech conferences and charity galas went silent, his name now more likely to trend in meme threads than on Forbes lists. Chart decreasing whole, his absence didn't go unnoticed. Drodbrook's quarterly town hall, once a live-streamed showcase of innovation, was quietly canceled. Industry panels removed his name. A major keynote in Zurich replaced him with a lesser-known CTO due to scheduling conflicts. But everyone knew the real reason. Behind the scenes, investors were rattled. Drodbrook's stock dipped, not dramatically, but noticeably. Analysts cited brand vulnerability. Emails leaked. One executive called the incident a textbook lesson in modern reputation fragility. Receipt. Understood? And that's exactly what became. A case study in how a single moment, 10 seconds, one poor decision, one snatch of a child's joy, can dismantle a carefully curated legacy. Not because it was criminal, but because it was human in the worst way. The USTA responded too. New fan interaction protocols were announced. Increased staff around walkways, clearer guidelines for post-match giveaways, and an official safe moment zone for players to greet fans. Subtle but telling. Tennis build cap. Other celebrities weighed in. Actor Ashton Cray tweeted, "If you need a cap that bad, I'll buy you one, bro." Olympian Nadia Flores posted a photo hugging a young fan, captioned, "Something 9 years old. Learn that not every smile stays. That sometimes the world reaches in and steals the thing you were just about to cherish." And yet, through all the noise, all the fury, he held on to something far more powerful than a cap. The ability to still believe in kindness. Blue Heart. For the rest of us, it was a glimpse, uncomfortable, raw, into entitlement, celebrity culture, and what happens when people forget the power of small moments. When did we stop seeing each other? When did wealth become a shield against humility? When did "I thought it was mine" become enough? Understood? And maybe the hardest question of all, what would you do if the entire world saw your worst moment, played back in slow motion, again and again forever? Pensive face. Would it destroy you? Redeem you? Would you fight it or learn from it? These are the questions we carry into the next viral story, the next clip, the next snap judgment. But for now, maybe, just maybe, we sit with this one. Understood? Fade to black.